Any person can be put in their place with just a couple of phrases. There are many videos on this topic online, but most of them are quite superficial. This is because, firstly, you need to understand the rules of this game. Secondly, there are 5 main methods. Not just phrases, but ways to use these phrases effectively. I will now explain them. A young man came to the place where Buddha was teaching his disciples. He sat down and started observing. However, he found Buddha's teachings very displeasing. He thought Buddha was acting arrogantly, sitting above the others and teaching them. At the end of the lesson, the young man approached Buddha, spat in his face and said, "I don't like what you're saying at all. I don't like you as a person either." He then proceeded to throw dirt on Buddha. Buddha looked at him and asked, "Is there anything else you want to say to me?" The young man was shocked, not knowing how to react, and left. That evening at home, he realized that Buddha was not an ordinary person. Only a holy figure could accept an insult and remain unaffected. The next day, after attending another lesson, he approached Buddha, placed flowers around his neck and said, "Dear Buddha, please forgive me. You are a holy person and a unique individual. Thank you very much." Buddha looked at him again and asked, "Is there anything else you want to say to me?" The young man was completely confused. He said, "I don't understand. Yesterday I insulted you and you didn't react. Today I apologized and expressed my gratitude and you still didn't react. Why?" Buddha responded simply, "Because I am not your servant." The first rule to understand is, as soon as we react negatively to someone's words or actions, we become their servants, and they start to control us. In Japan, a young samurai challenges another samurai to a duel. The other samurai appears, approaches him, and before the duel starts, the young samurai kneels, places his sword on the ground, and says, "Forgive me, I have lost." The other samurai asks, "Why did you lose?" The young samurai replies, "Because I felt anger and gave in to my emotions." The second rule: whatever happens, always remain calm. Imagine a Shaolin monastery. A young man bursts into the school and says, "Who is the master here?" The head teacher comes out, and the young man says, "I challenge you to a fight." The teacher responds, "I don't want to fight with you." The young man starts insulting and throwing dirt on the teacher. The teacher stands there, listening, and when students try to intervene, he says, "Stay back." After the young man finishes and leaves, the students ask, "Master, you could have defeated him. Why didn't you do it?" The teacher replies, "When someone wants to give you something, as long as you don't accept it, it doesn't become yours. It remains the property of that person. While he was throwing dirt at me, it didn't stick to me because I didn't accept it. If someone is throwing dirt at you and you stay clean, that dirt won't stick to you. It will remain in the hands of the person who threw it." Now I'll explain the 5 methods. Method number 1, neutralize with ignoring. How to devalue words to 0. The first method is very powerful. We like being loved and can tolerate being disliked or disrespected. But ignoring is when we are not noticed or valued, and that hurts. We can use the method that Buddha employed in the first story. When someone says something negative, criticizes, or gives unwanted advice and you don't want to listen, simply ask, "Is there anything else you want to say?" Regardless of the answer, show no reaction. Don't say, "Okay, fine," or "I understand you." Just don't react. If the person continues talking, repeat, "Maybe there's something else you want to say?" After that, show no reaction. This neutralizes and devalues the person's words to 0. It may be challenging, but it is a very effective method. Method number 2, humor, turn criticism into a joke. The second method is humor. This is a very effective technique as it relieves tension and turns the conversation into a joke, which also devalues what was said. However, Not everyone is ready to use this method. For example, a husband comes home and says to his wife, "I think we need to move to another city for new opportunities." The wife replies, "Great. Do you have a plan for the move, or should we start by moving to a different room first?" This joke helps relieve tension and makes the suggestion less serious and more playful, helping to handle potential conflicts. Practice this method. It really is effective. Method number 3, direct challenge. Stop criticism with a simple question. The third method is my favorite. It is the boldest, like a handbrake suddenly stopping a speeding car. The person does not expect such a reaction and starts to think. When someone criticizes you, ask, "Why are you telling me this?" Or, "What is your purpose in saying this?" Keep asking this question until the person realizes their true motives. Usually, answers boil down to two: because I want to, or because I want to help. If the person says it's just their desire, you can ask, "Why do you think your desires should concern me?" If they say they want to help, you can respond, "Did I ask you for help?" This method helps devalue the conversation. Method number 4, sincerity and love. Respond to aggression with kindness. The fourth method requires sincerity. Otherwise, it can harm yourself. This method involves responding to criticism or aggression with love. Not everyone is ready for this, but if a person is aggressive, it may mean they are seeking love and do not feel it. If my child is sick and irritable, I don't get angry with them because I understand their condition. If my wife is being moody, I also try to understand the reason. You can say, "Maybe you have a problem. Can I help with anything?" Or thank them. "Thank you, you might be right about something, I will think about it." This shifts the person's focus and helps to diffuse aggression. But this method should be used sincerely. Method number 5, self-deprecation. Disarm criticism through self-awareness. The fifth method is self-deprecation. When you are demeaned or criticized, you can surpass the criticism by devaluing yourself even more. For example, if someone says, "You're worthless," you can respond, "You don't even know how much worse it is than you think." This disarms the opponent because they do not expect such a reaction. The person tries to belittle you, and you respond by saying they don't even know how much worse things really are. This devalues their criticism. Now that I've explained the 5 methods, consider which one suits you best. Try each one and practice. Share in the comments which method you find the most effective. Remember, everything passes with time, no matter how difficult your situation. Stay human and take care of yourself. See you soon.